Ho! Hey folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and nothing gets me through the day like a piece of CJ Nova 992 and smash the like button with a 2x4 and subscribe!
Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back for another brand new video. It's going to be the first one that we're actually on the channel. It's been requested for a very long time, since the Balls of Fire pay-per-view. He's wanted to bring this, so what I've done is went out and reached out to two of my friends that actually know a lot about wrestling, maybe even more than me. I'm going to introduce them to the channel right now, starting off with Baz, who should already be on the channel, depending on the upload schedule of the recap. Baz, channel, Baz.
I just thought I'd throw that in, just like the last time. I know you like your entrance music, mate, and now I can't get it off.
Copyright.
So it's good to be here once again, mate. I know we're trying something new tonight. The old SummerSlam recap or review or whatever you're calling it. Good to be here. Thank you.
Love that shirt, mate. I love the glorious shirt in the background. Loving it.
Thanks very much. You know, represent Robbie Roode. He's the man.
Former champ. Moving over to Simi now. It's the first time ever been on the channel. Simi, Novo channel, Simi.
How you doing? Glad to be here. It's nice to talk about something I actually know something about for a change.
Again, we're going to leave the football behind, talk about something that we're all kind of crazy passionate about. And that's just what we're going to be bringing. Today's is just going to be recapping the SummerSlam review. And then I think we're going to be doing it every week if we can do, and we're going to be speaking about wrestling. So stay tuned. We're going to be asking you some questions for you to answer down below, and we'll be talking about some of the things as well. But we're going to start off with the pre-show for the SummerSlam. And Simi, I've seen on Twitter you've got some of the things like about the Miz and stuff like that, so I thought we'd start there and you can kick off what your thoughts are of the pre-show.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I know the pre-show is what it is, you know, but I'm actually quite surprised that I'm gutted that the Miz is on the pre-show, because he just became one of my favourite guys in the last year. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's Intercontinental Champion, and he's in a six-man tag on the pre-show. That's the second time that belt's been on the pre-show this year. WrestleMania, Dean Ambrose. I mean, it's like that's a prestigious title, and it's just.
And it's not as if it's like one of the smaller pay-per-views. It's one of the main four of the year, eh? Like Intercontinental Championship should have a storyline. Should be either just off the main event, but they have and I don't know if you saw, but none of the crowd was actually there. There was like 15 people watching the first match because there were crowd issues. I saw on the Twitter. So they're literally there's all these jokes saying Matt and Jeff's again back at TNA. Like they're in front of like no fans, so that's a bit shocking, especially when you've got the Hardys in there. You've got Jason Jordan, who's in this ridiculous storyline about Kurt Angle's son. So I just want to hear your thoughts about that, Baz. What did you think of the storyline? If you've been sort of up to date with it?
Aye. Do you know what I think? To be honest, I'm not really that impressed with the whole pay-per-view as a whole, but I'll get into that. But somebody was touching on there about the Miz and the Intercontinental title. It is weakening the title. Now, if I remember correctly, a couple of years ago there was a WrestleMania event. The Miz fought.
Wade about it, yeah.
I'm sure they had an IC match before. That was like a dark match, even before the pay-per-view started. And that's might be like the second biggest title in wrestling, not just the WWE, but in wrestling. And obviously, the Hardy Boys' triumphant return at WrestleMania, absolutely huge pop. I thought it kind of weakened their position as well. So nah, the whole thing didn't impress me one bit, to be fair.
Yeah, it was just that you'd think they'd find a space for them. The thing on the Hardys, I think the broken gimmick, I think that's starting to cause problems because obviously Matt's wanting to do that. They're kind of caught up in this legal battle just now. So I think that's kind of halted their run. So they've just kind of went, right, you will come down here the now. But I thought, what did you think of the actual match, I mean, itself?
I thought it was fine. I mean, the Hardys are always a good entertainment. The Miz, like I said, I just became such a big, massive fan of him in the last year because I used to hate him with a total passion. I thought it was a lot of fun. I always preferred Chad Gable to Jason Jordan personally.
100% agree with you.
American Alpha, but I think we'll come good. You know, I thought he gelled quite well with the Hardys, to be fair. Considering.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people pulling saying that he's going to go on a wee bit of losing streak and turn heel against his dad. That's the storyline that they're actually trying to. A lot of people sort of guessing. I don't know. That'd be interesting, but I just thought. If you're going for someone like his illegitimate son to get a bit of believability about it, you'd have chose Chad Gable, surely, with him being an Olympic wrestler and everything like that, eh? But they kind of just threw it in this banner. Jason Jordan, I think the fans are already rejecting it, like you get zero pop, basically. So they need to do some of that storyline pretty quickly or it'll just die.
he's a good wrestler, but he's not really got much charisma, you know, and I think they're pushing him too. I wouldn't say they're pushing him too soon, but I think they're pushing, in my opinion, pushing him the wrong way as a singles wrestler. I don't think he's ready for it, but you'll get there.
Aye, exactly. Remember, they used to think The Rock was terrible and had no personality when he was Rocky Maivia. That turned out a wee bit differently. So just hopefully you can take that chance. Moving on to the second match, it was actually Neville in the title match for the Cruiserweights, the King of the Cruiserweights. I just thought this match was, I don't know why they made him drop the title for he's already won it back. I didn't really like the ending. I thought they'd have like screwed him over. But for Neville to win it right back, I just thought, what was the whole point of him dropping the title finally after all those months retaining it? I just thought it was a bit silly.
Well, that's just part and parcel of the day now, isn't it? It's the titles back and forth. I mean, I remember when Bret Hart had the record for being a 5-time champion. I think Roman Reigns won it 4 times.
Baz, what's your thoughts? Did you catch the Cruiserweights match between?
I never seen this. I think I was making pizza or something, right? But Neville, he wears a cape, he's got a 6-pack. He looks like one of the wee guys out of The Hobbit. You remember that film, The fucking Hobbit? The wee dude that goes and fights the dragon and all that sort of shit. It looks like him. So I like him.
So you like him? That's good. He gets a thumbs up for it. Neville, you get a thumb up. I like his sort of gimmick, how he's went heel and everything like that and built some prestige on the Cruiserweight Championship, but I just thought, because they're doing hot potato with it now, I've kind of lost interest a wee bit in it. So that was my thoughts. I think that was one of the it was a good technical match. I thought it was like some of the spots work, but I just thought I wasn't very invested in it. Just didn't really care overall. Now, I'm moving on to, I think, was probably one of the best matches on the card, and again, it was still on the pre-show. It was the Usos versus New Day. Did any of you catch this?
I did. I actually watched it before it came up.
I thought that was maybe stole the show the entire night, and half the crowd didn't even bloody see it.
It was a cracking match. I mean, when it first started, I went, oh, here we go, the Usos versus the New Day for the 17th millionth time this week. Yeah. But a cracking match, and the fans that were there were right into it, and it was exciting, and it's quite a surprise ending as well, you know. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was one of those things because everyone, I've seen the reviews like saying the crowd was dead throughout the whole match. I think me and Baz was talking about that last night when we were watching it. The crowd was very no into it, but that actual match was probably, apart from maybe the main event, was actually the loudest they were, and half of them weren't even in the crowd at the time. So it just shows you it was a good technical match and a surprise ending as well, having Usos beat New Day. So I thought that was surprising. Baz, what did you think? Yeah, if you saw it,
I agree with Simmy. I mean, they have fought quite a bit, but they should be having a great match because they know each other so well now. Their chemistry and their timing should be fucking spot on every single time. New Day, you can't beat them in terms of a promo, you know, in terms of an entrance. But to be honest, I thought New Day were going to win it. So it was good to see a wee surprise there, and it was good to see the Usos get the win, to be fair.
And it was actually the second longest match of the night as well. It was under just about a minute less than the actual main event. So it shows you they did believe in them, but still not enough to push them up to the main squad, which was the main preview, which was quite interesting. But yeah, that was the pre-show. I actually quite enjoyed the pre-show, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, that was the main. The way the actual show started, and we're going to talk about that in a second. I'd have preferred to see the tag team match and maybe even the Hardys versus the Mr. Raj in there, because I thought the start of the SummerSlam was very, very poor. But yeah, let's just move into the main start. And to be honest with you, lads, it took a major down for me right away. It was John Cena, Danish John Cena thing against Baron Corbin, who last week was the future champion, Money in the Briefcase winner. John Cena.
See what happens as a foot on trying to get it off.
What she said. One thing about actually Cena, see that it's good that you've actually put that entrance. I noticed, you know how they always do that thing, John Cena sucks. It's starting to get a wee bit quiet. I don't know, like he's still probably one of the most popular names, like boos and cheers, but it wasn't as loud as it used to be. I think most of all the hates now is kind of drifting over to someone else we'll talk about in one of the main events. But yeah, his pop isn't as quite as bad or as controversial as it used to be. I've started to notice.
Well, I remember December WrestleMania last year when he came out by a surprise return to back up The Rock. Showed his music hit. The fans are cheered. Then went, man, it's John Cena. It's like boom. If we go,
it's like Alpha. We're not allowed.
Everybody shut up.
It was like, yeah, we're not allowed to boo him. I'm not allowed to cheer him. Boo! I mean, boo! No, yes, boo.
He's one of these people that's like, you know what you get with John Cena. I think he's a very underrated wrestler because I think his matches he puts on is actually really good. Like his match last year with AJ Styles in SummerSlam was one of the matches I'll remember for quite a long time. But I don't know, I've kind of felt off with this match. Like Baron Corbin, again, like I was kind of touching on last week, he was the absolute hero in the future of the company. SmackDown, this week, he's insulted a veteran. He's talked bad about Dave Meltzer on Twitter. Now he's getting buried. Lost the briefcase, and then he's lost to John Cena clean in a pay-per-view. What do you guys think about this actual story projecting? Like, he was up to here, now he's just dead.
But see, to be honest with you, dude, I've never really rated him. He's got long hair and he's gone baldy. The only person gets away with that is Hulk Hogan. That's the only person in the world that can have long hair. And he's starting to show signs. He's got cool entrance music. I don't even think he's that good a wrestler. I think his character's pretty fucking pish. It's nothing I've not seen before. John Cena is an absolute fucking legend in the sport.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought it was just a pointless match. Absolutely, just pointless. Just threw together.
It's funny, it's still very well saying like, us John Cena doing his John Cena thing, but it's the first time he's won at SummerSlam in about 7 years.
I've seen that stat, yeah, because he's been putting the last few people over. Aye, I've seen that. So it's fair play to him. Like I said, I wasn't like a dig at Cena. I'm just thinking because it was like 3 days of a build up, like interfered with his gender, like cash in, and then he's got a pay-per-view match so quickly. It just felt like it was just John Cena just being like the hero of SmackDown or hero of WWE versus the villain sort of hang. I was just bored a wee bit.
See, unless this goes somewhere, you know, and like Corbin comes back to eventually win the feud, then it just seems pointless. Just let's give John Cena something today at SummerSlam.
Exactly, and you just look at John Cena, like everyone used to complain when he was in every main event, he would always win. But since he's like maybe the last year or something like that, since he like put over AJ Styles last year, he's just been kind of like just floating around. And he's like one of the biggest superstars. He's doing his Total Bellas thing or whatever it is. That's kind of about it.
Riding like a king is what he's doing. And I respect him for that. And see, if I was John Cena, I'll lose every match, dude. Have you seen who I'm riding? I'll lose every match. I don't care. Have you seen who I'm riding? That's what I'd be saying if I was John Cena.
Do you see a future for Corbin? And just to counteract Bazzy's point, actually, earlier, I was saying you didn't really rate him. I don't know if any saw it on the network. It was, what was it? It was an NXT thing. It was showing you the Breaking Ground, it was called. It was a series. Aye. That's where I started to like him because I thought he was really dire as well. But then when you actually kind of see him a wee bit personality-wise and how he's been working and his background, you kind of get taken in by him. I think he's got a fantastic finisher, the end of days. And that, I don't know if you saw like the choke slam backbreaker move was fucking crazy. That should be someone's finisher.
I followed him up through NXT during his when the crowd just did like did countdowns to his matches and stuff. Our counter would just like counting these matches, see how long it would take because he was beating guys in like seconds.
Right.
But you're asking if there's any way back for him. I would say maybe because I mean look at Cesaro a couple of years ago.
Exactly. One of the other matches I didn't actually enjoy at all. I'm going to be honest with you, right at the gate. There's 2 in a row for me, and I was speaking to Baz about this. It was the Women's Championship match, the Glow Championship. Natalia defeated Naomi, obviously. And again, about a 10-minute mark match. It just seemed like a bit of a weird finish. What did you guys think of it? I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't feel the match.
Pretty much, I was saying I had no investment in it, and I couldn't really get into it. I think it was a big part of the fact that I was just so much in a downer for the last match.
Spiral.
See if I watched it in order of the pre-show. See if the pre-show got you nice and warmed up.
Yeah.
You know, boom, brings you back down. And then the time this match came on, I was like, nah. I was going through the motions with it.
It was just one of those matches you'd see on SmackDown. Like, it didn't feel special at all. Just felt like it was just a match. What did you think of it, Baz?
Do you know what? I like Natalia, right? I think she's a very gifted athlete. I think she's a gifted wrestler. And Naomi's entrance was fucking ridiculous. Do you know what? It reminds me of like Colours Fest or something, you know what I mean? Something you would see at a rave. It's just fucking shite looking, stupid. I think, as I say, Natalia's a gifted wrestler, and I'm glad she won the match. But around about that point, I probably went for a piss and a bite to eat and asked about loving him. Yeah,
it was one of these things. I hate the way the title looks. It looks like a toy. See how she's got all those lights and everything on it. Like, Cena got a lot of like flack for having that spinner belt, but at least it still looked like a title belt. This just looks like a toy, like anybody in the crowd could have, just like with fairy lights and everything on it. I just wasn't invested in it. Obviously, I think the rumours like Natalia and Natalia's going to be retiring at the end of this year or something like that at Mania. So this is just kind of her going away, finally giving her the title. That's what like the rumour is, that she's wanting to walk away, but she wanted one more run with the title. So good luck to her. She certainly deserves it with all the years she's put over superstar with her superstar when it's never been her. So hopefully she makes a good run at it.
No, I can't fault the ending. They fault her winning it. I'm glad she's winning it, but as a match, I was not bothered.
Yeah. And let's just move on to one of the... I think this is maybe the worst match that I've maybe seen in a very long time. I've never been more physically angry by a match. And it was a Big Cass versus Big Show with Enzo Amore in a cage and his boxers oiled up. So I'm going to let you go before I go off in a wee bit because I feel I'm already starting to get a bit heated. So Sammy, I'll throw it to you first. What would you rate the Sharkcade match? You like it?
I'm not really one for ratings, but all I'll say is apart from to try and sell toys on your Sharkcade ring, I've no idea why Enzo's in this shark cage because he has no threat whatsoever to Cass. It's not like he's going to come into the match and attack him and like help Big Show beat him. He's been proven to be no threat to Cass at all. They've made that clear. Why put him in a cage above the ring other than, I don't know, maybe Vince Russo snuck something in there.
Big Vince's, but I was like, it was a WCW style match, I think. I
didn't even mind if we done it at Royal Rumble with Jericho. It was ridiculous, but it didn't bother me as much.
Aye.
Is that this time I think it's because it was two big giants in the ring.
Yeah.
And we die dangling for it. It was stupid.
Shouting every minute of the match, too. Like, he wouldn't shut up. I was trying to like focus on, I couldn't even hear the commentators because he was shouting all the time. Baz, I was kind of going off on Twitter around at that time. What did you think of the match?
You saved the match. You saved the match. Because when I was watching the match, you were getting off your fucking head on Twitter. So I spent most of my time reading your meltdown rather than actually watching the match. And it was the only good thing about that match. Listen, Enzo Amore, I used to think he was funny. I used to think it was a catchy wee character. But it's annoying as fuck now. No. Big Cass and Amore, when they first came on the scene, you think, how's this going to work? You get this big guy and this wee guy. How's it going? Now, see that they're no speaking. It's definitely no working because what do you do with either of them? Now, the Big Show, I remember watching the Big Show. It was an interview about, his position in the company and what he does. He says he's taking a back seat now. He gets involved when Vince McMahon asks him to help out. So the fact that they've asked Big Show to help out shows that they really don't have a fucking clue what they're going to do with Big Cass. I don't know whether they can put him and Baron Corbin together and the two of them can have a fuck off useless fight, when all the lights go out and stuff like that in the future. But what they're going to do with Enzo Amore, he needs to get some new patter because it's wearing a bit thin and it was annoying as fuck. And then see when he finally get out the cage, how am I going to get out this cage? Oh wait a minute, I've got some baby oil that I keep with me. I'm going to get stripped into my pants. And then I'm going to get out the cage. Now I'm out the cage. What am I going to do? I'm going to get booted in the face. And it's going to be one of the worst sales of all time because he sold it before the fucking boot even hit his face. So after that big build-up, he finally gets out the cage. Boom. Boot misses him with about a foot. And down he goes. And that was it.
Absolutely. Yeah, pointless is the perfect word. Like, I was watching it, right, and I was like, see when he go to the cage, like, it was ridiculous. He stripped off. It was for comedy effect. I got it, accepting. The kids loved it and everything. They were laughing. I thought he was going to jump off the cage onto Big Cass's back or something like that and they son interrupt the match and for them to win. But all he did was land, get kicked in the face, and then never. He just laid there, oiled up in his boxers on the mattress, doing nothing. Just nothing. He just laid it. Well, Cass,
I'll be honest, I've got previous for doing that myself, getting oiled up, lying there and doing nothing.
Yeah, I thought it was an absolutely shocking match. I like Enzo. Like, I think his promos are pretty funny, but this year it was just dead. The crowd was just not in it. I think they cut these promos short. Like, you've seen that before.
The crowd actually started shouting boring.
Yeah, that's when
there was a chance of boring during the match.
And I think that was one of the loudest the crowd was because they just got fed up with that match. I think it was this. Yeah, it was similar to the actual title match, like in terms of length, and you're like, you're going to give this stupid gimmick match as much as prestige as the Women's Championship. I just thought, I wasn't into it at all. I thought it was the worst match that I've maybe seen in my entire life. That's it. That's my review. That's me behaving to you. I really fucking hated it. All right, let's move on to the quickest match of the card, lads. It was Randy Orton versus Rusev, who's got all the talent in the world. He used to be one of the undefeated champion for like a year. He could beat in 10 seconds. The burial of Rusev. What do you guys think?
It's no something you get in recent years. You get a squash match and pay-per-views, but back in the day, the 90s and 80s and that, you did get it. It wasn't uncommon to just have a random squash match. But it'd be like a random squash match. It wouldn't be an assassination of somebody's character.
No. See, before we go on, all he's done, right, is he was in that storyline with Summer Rae and everything. Like, all he done was marry his girlfriend and posted a picture on his Instagram. And ever since that, for about a year and a half, he's been absolutely murdered. He finally came back after TV for months and months, rushed to put this random rivalry with Orton, and he gets beaten 10 seconds after a 3-week build. I was just like, what? Baz, what did you think of the career ending of Rusev?
Well, he's pish. Let's be honest. He's a new age Mark Henry, isn't he? He's here to replace Mark. He's a guy that's absolutely fucking hopeless, but we'll get all the pushes and all that. Keeps on happening. You get this wrestler that comes along every now and again. Henry done it for 20 years. Now it's Rusev's done right, but I know he get beat there in 10 seconds. But you got to remember there was a WrestleMania. I think Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan and something similar. Just walked out him with the brogue kick and it was over. Is it for the US title or something? Or maybe it was for the big gold.
Was the world title?
Yeah, it was for the world title. No, to be fair, even though it was a quick match, it was the best match apart from the Usos. It was the best match up to that point because it came out of nowhere. And I swear to God, that RKO was fucking awesome. I don't know whether they fucked it or whether Rusev sold it like nobody has sold an RKO ever. Yeah. He just fucking flipped his feet up in the air and boom, down he went. It was one of the best RKOs I've ever seen. I hope it was done on purpose. I hope Big Rusev didn't miss his footing. He looked as if he's lost a bit of weight as well, Big Rusev.
Yeah.
Probably all that riding he's doing.
But like John Cena, you were mentioning earlier, he's living the dream. He's married to Lana. He can take losses.
David, you want 10 seconds, no problem.
RKO me on my fucking eyebrows, I don't care.
I'll put you on 10 seconds, mate. You know what I mean? RKO me if you want. Let's not forget hard on. But good on him.
And just lastly, but Randy Orton, a couple of months ago, he was in obviously this feud with Jinder Mahal, who we'll get to, don't worry. Lost that 3 times. Now he's kind of been just randomly put towards a SummerSlam match with Rusev that didn't really matter. Where does he go? Do you think that's him back in the title contention, or is he just kind of stuck in this middle land now?
Well, am I right in thinking if Randy Orton wins one more title, he's going to equal John Cena's record?
Yeah, that's right.
So, I don't know. Has he got an title run after him?
It's actually such a really good question, because if you think about it, like everyone's talking about when's John Cena going to beat Flair's record, obviously, who's still actually recovering in hospital, so our well wishes all definitely go to them. But you look at Orton, and because he's over in SmackDown, he's probably their biggest star, if you think about it. You could argue like maybe Nakamura or AJ Styles, but they're kind of they're entitled to their own rivalries just now. But Orton's maybe the face of that brand, so if he wins one more, then what they're going to do with him, just kind of job him out for a couple of years before he beats the record. Like, I just didn't get it, because he's a lot younger than Cena, I believe, eh?
I don't know. He's how old? Orton was about 20.
Well, was the youngest WWE champion of all time?
He's just turned 37. He's just turned 37. So he's still got a lot of years to go, and he's only got one more to join the record. So
I would say he's got at least another 3 years at least in him.
Yeah, the top.
He's not got like a high impact, crazy, like high spot style or anything, you know. So I like Randy Orton, man. I do.
See his previous music, that was like one of my favourites as well. Remember when he was at Evolution, he used to stand up like that and get the gold on him, man? That used to be cool.
Hey, nothing you can say.
That's it, that was my favourite. Then he
I'm gonna take one to my... No, I don't know, mate.
He's got one of the most over finishers, so I think he can have these matches. He's probably the only one in the card that can have a squash match and everyone to be happy, because what they see is the RKO. That's why 90% of people get excited about. The crowd went mental when they heard the pop, and that's just what he's done. He's kind of like, I don't know, right? He's kind of like the Goldberg. Remember, like Goldberg used to just hit a spear in the jackhammer and everyone would go home happy. Orton does that. He comes in, has about a 5-minute match, hits the RKO, goes home, everyone's happy. That's just kind of where he goes now.
I've got a theory why the creative team struggle with talent and storylines. And I believe it's because it was rushed. Right, now, if you look at wrestling, maybe a few years back, there was less pay-per-views. Now, there's these pay-per-views happening every month.
Every
So what
2
it
weeks,
is,
yeah.
you've got two guys are feuding up to the pay-per-view, and then come the pay-per-view, it's done. And then it's like, right, let's find another story for this guy. Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, for example, you know what I mean? How many fucking times do we need to see the same storyline with these guys? And I think pay-per-views shouldn't necessarily be the end of a feud. Do you know what I mean? It could be part of it or part of the build-up. You know what I mean? I know we've got like Raw and SmackDown have got their own brand and their own pay-per-views, and obviously like, the big ones like SummerSlam, but it's like a joint sort of a promotional thing. But I think they need to extend the storylines in terms of, you know what I mean, cover it over a couple of pay-per-views, and then that way you're not putting yourself under pressure, and you can make a good storyline last longer. Because the whole Randy Orton Bray Wyatt thing, I thought it was a good storyline.
I loved it.
Even though it's kind of repeating the Daniel Bryan thing, but it was such a good storyline, and I think they just rushed it a wee bit. Right now, oh fuck, I don't know. Did a Bray Wyatt one again with somebody else? Aye, good idea.
That's basically our thoughts on those two. Do you see any future for Rusev, or do you think he'll need to go away and do a Drew McIntyre, go make his name elsewhere, or does he just stay at this weird job and punishment role he's been at for the last 2 years?
I think they'll find something for him.
But yeah, let's talk about my future wife. Alexa Bliss lost her championship to Sasha Banks, and again, I was expecting high hopes for this match. I know it was kind of threw together because it was supposed to be Bayley versus Bliss, but Bayley got injured, so it was kind of like a thrown together match. She kind of came down like dressed like a peacock, which threw me off right away. I don't know what was going on, but I'll pass over to you first to see what your thoughts of the actual match itself.
I love peacocks.
Thank God you said P at the start of that.
You know, you could edit that any way you want.
That's just gone on Twitter. You know, I love cocks. Just staring right at the camera. So what did you think of the match?
I didn't see it, to be fair. I used that opportunity.
But you said it felt kind of, it should have been better than it was.
Yeah.
It kind of felt thrown together and it looked it.
That's what I thought. Like
a bad match. Just I was like, eh.
I hope it doesn't seem like being too negative just because it was like the two women's matches we didn't really like get any. But I just thought the match itself. If you think about Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, those like 5 or 6 matches, they were like top notch matches. This one just kind of felt, came with Bayley's injured, like just fire something together really quickly. Bliss, you're dropping the title, and you kind of knew because they'd done a promo just before the match, which was promoting like No Mercy, but it just said WWE superstar Alexa Bliss instead of having the championship. She went, oh, this isn't going to go well for Alexa. Again, a wee bit of hot potato with the title, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I know a lot of people are excited now because if Bayley comes back, it's going to be Bayley versus Sasha, which was massive in NXT. But hopefully, like they didn't just bury Bliss at this point because she's one of the most over superstars apparently. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I mean, talking about just women's matches there. If anybody watching wants to see a cracking women's match, it's been recent. Asuka and Nikki Storm on NXT, last woman standing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the matches of the year.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's move on to someone else that's a wee bit silly lately. It's Bray Wyatt versus the Demon Finn Balor, which the crowd was dead for, and I was fucking raging because I was so excited. I was like, yes, the crowd's going to go mental. But at that point, they had watched like 6 shit matches in a row. They never cared. It was just one of those things. What did you think of the actual match itself?
I thought it was a good match, and that's when you kind of started to see the upswing on SummerSlam. But the fact that they just fought each other on Raw for some reason the week before, I found really weird. Just kind of, I don't mind seeing like fresh big matches on Raw. I think it's a good thing, but when they're fighting at SummerSlam, have these matches, have a dark match. You know, have them. That's what they're for, to kind of get them battle ready, so to speak. So having it on Raw, I thought was weird. The minute Bray Wyatt were on Raw, you went, he's losing at SummerSlam.
See, if you just ignore the previous 8 events and started SummerSlam here, it would have been a good starting point because the drama between the two of these guys have got some amazing entrances, right? Wwe Bryant saying, Wwe Bryant? Who the fuck is Wwe Bryant? Bray Wyatt put an amazing entrance. Finn Balor's entrance was amazing, and I think they bring this sort of mystique, you know, the whole character idea behind it, and I thought it would have been a good starting point. The crowd wouldn't have been pissed off, they wouldn't have been bored, and it would actually have built up to something. This is where they should have started.
But their characters are so cool. Like, Simmy, you watch NXT, you're quite like me. Remember when the Demon used to come out, the crowd used to go absolutely berserk. Like, you couldn't even hear any, you could barely hear the music because the crowd was going berserk. And just watching that kind of hurt me because I was watching it, I was just like, that's shite. I was so excited to see him on the main roster, and that's my memory is just the crowd just not even into it at all.
It took away fit.
Aye. So I kind of shy. I've still thought it was a really good match. Like I said, like the other two guys on the podcast have said, it was definitely the turn for me. You could argue like some of the things that's previously, like the RKO and everything was a cool moment, but this is kind of when the matches actually started getting good, and I started waking up a bit because I sat up to 4:20 watching this live, and it was hard for the first hour and a half, 2 hours. But this is when it started getting good. And then let's talk about one of the other high points is moving on to the tag team title that actually surprised me because I actually really enjoyed this match. It was obviously the Shield, but they're not calling themselves the Shield now, yet they're doing the Shield move. It's like a whole thing now. Versus Cesaro and Sheamus, who's also not got a name, but they do this. So the side farmers, that's what I call them. But yeah, that was actually really good.
But they not call themselves the Bar.
What? Is that what they're called? The Bar?
The Bar, aye.
No, I've never heard that. I thought it was just like one of the throwaway things that they've said.
I thought that's what they called themselves, maybe. I just picked it up wrong. But anyway.
They're always in a bar drinking as a part of their promos. So this match was again actually a big step up in time length. Like this is when it kind of jumped in. I thought the match was really, really exciting. Rollins did come out like a Power Ranger. That's like the only thing I thought was weird. But Dean Ambrose had a wee bit of red on his hoodie, so I guess they were a team dressed with each other. But what did you guys think of the actual match for me? For you, sorry.
I enjoyed the match. Again, I thought the crowd were trying to ruin it. Mm-hmm. Beach Boys about and stuff like that. Just the Brooklyn crowd were rubbish last year as well. But anyway, I'd like to talk about them. That's what they're wanting.
We're not going back. We're not going back to Brooklyn.
No. But no, I thought the match was good. It was exactly what I expected for it. What I enjoyed most about it was, as you'll see in our own Baz, the storylines all over the place. They've not got any kind of long-term plans and stuff like that. This was a culmination of story writing that's lasted years. Mm-hmm. You know, and don't get me wrong, it's not almost 10 years ago they went like this, right? When the Shield splits up, we're going to have Dean and Seth at SummerSlam. But for the last few weeks, they've teased a Shield reunion where like Seth's been trying to get redemption and Dean's like, no, I'm not having it. Then Dean's like, maybe I should fucking back him up. Maybe we should just bury the hatchet. And Seth's like, no. Until last week in Raw, two of them actually fight and make up. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they went and made that the fist bump thing. The place just exploded because it was earned.
Yeah,
they built it up, and that was the best thing for me. Much attention.
I disagree a wee bit. I disagree. See the whole, see the build up. The build up is pretty good when they're doing the whole fist bump thing, right? But what I was wanting to see happen is that was a Shield, and there was 3 of them in the Shield, as we know, right? So they're doing something, and there's a third person there. I was waiting on one of them going like that and shaking his horn and doing like a handshake thing. So it kind of recognises that we're on the same page we used to be, because that used to be a 3-man thing. This is just us. I felt that doing that was a step getting back the way to what they used to be, rather than doing something else like a fucking, you know, the Rainbow handshake thing going forward. But I did enjoy the build up, to be fair. But do you know what worries me, Simmy? What you're saying about the whole creative side? The only thing that held Cesaro and Sheamus together was these belts, because this is another example of what the fuck did we do with these guys? We've got 2 cracking performers, 2 cracking wrestlers. What are we going to do? Put them together, make them tag team champions. Right, that's what we'll do. Now they're no champions. Now what the fuck are they going to do with them? Sheamus needs to get a haircut. That's the first thing he needs to do.
Because it meant to go to SummerSlam, you knew you were getting. And that match may have been kind of predictable ones, but sometimes you can watch wrestling as predictable and it's rubbish because, I knew it was going to happen. Let's say John Cena Corbin, for example. All the times you're like, oh, that's a nice wee shock and surprise. That, I kind of expected them to win, but it was good. Sometimes a happy ending's a good thing, you know. That's what that match was.
Simmy, 2017. Sometimes a happy ending is a good thing. But I just want to point to you, do you realise that Dean Ambrose won the Grand Slam? He's won every belt in the last year. He had the title, the US title, the Intercontinental title, the Tag Team Championship on a year, and it's not even a big deal.
Impressive.
He's won everything you can win in 1 year. Cheeky Ambrose. And no one's really giving him credit for it. When I seen the stat, I was like, that should be a big deal. Like winning a Grand Slam. And moving on to probably my favourite wrestler on the card, AJ Styles. Don't know if you've seen my videos. He's probably my favourite. He was against Kevin Owens with special guest. Oh, you're Kevin Owens, man, eh? Oh, all right, okay. And let's just say Shane McMahon was probably the most involved special guest referee of all time. Had a cool wee jersey and that. What did you actually think of the match? It was another pretty long one.
I enjoyed it. I mean, like nothing kind of like spectacular, I would say. You know, I don't mean I had to take away from it. You know, like I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good match. A bit expected. I liked Shane's involvement. I thought it was Kevin Owens shouted something like, "You can survive jumping out a building, but you can't count." And like, I enjoyed the match. I thought it was good. I don't know. I hope that's the end of their feud though, because if we're having them back and forth for the title, which I didn't like. I enjoyed the match.
There's a lot of people saying now, with the way it ended, it's going to be Shane versus Kevin, and that's going to open the door for AJ Styles versus like a potential like Nakamura or something like that for the US title. Because I think Kevin Owens is going to take it pretty bad. That's where they're expecting it to go anyway. Because Kevin Owens is going to have the mindset like McMahon screwed him out of it. That's the kind of thing they're going for. But that just sort of reminds me at Mania when it was AJ Styles versus McMahon. It just seems like the exact same story, but they're just kind of, right, Kevin, we can't have you fight each other for the 100th time. Just go and do something earlier while AJ Styles is still here.
Pretty much, but that's the kind of thing, isn't it? They probably went, what was really popular last year? AJ and Shane McMahon. What are we going to do this year? Oh, who's that guy AJ's fighting? Kevin Owens? I have him fight Shane McMahon instead. But maybe the feud. Shane might be the special guest referee. What for? Don't know.
Just go in there.
But if you're a special guest referee, then maybe Kevin Owens. Cool.
Got you, and we're in there. And the last thing I'll say about Kevin Owens, again, I think these are probably two of my favourite actual ring competitors as well. The match, I wasn't feeling 100% because, like I said, and you've touched on there, Simmy, they fought each other. What's it like? It seems like every week now for the last 2 months. A previous pay-per-view as well. They've dropped the title back and forth at house shows. I'm getting a wee bit just slightly tired of it. I still think it was a very sound match, but yeah, this should be the end of the feud. Baz, what did you think of it?
Do you know what? I'm not a Kevin Owens man at all, right? I just threw that in there because I knew you like your AJ Styles. I'm a big AJ Styles fan. Love the guy. Even back in the day when AJ was in TNA and stuff like that, I always wanted to see him come across. And I honestly thought it was getting later and later and later. And then when they done it, it was good to see him on title and all that. So massive AJ Styles fan. Now, when you put AJ Styles and Kevin Owens together, you're never going to get a shit match. Do you know what I mean? They two could go out there half-assed, and it's probably still going to be one of the best matches on the card. Didn't blow me away, but I thought it was a decent match. Shane McMahon is obviously just adding a bit of drama. I thought it was a decent match, but for me, that's all it was, decent.
Right, so let's move on to, I thought was a bit of really, really disappointing match with a heavily botched ending where you could physically see Jinder Mahal shout, "Give me your hand," so he could do his finisher. I don't know if you've seen the replays. It's really awkward. Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers, aka the people that interfered, to let him win against Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship, lads. What do you think?
I think it's a lot of shit, right? And I'll tell you why it's a lot of shit. This is a marketing match only. This is to hit markets in fucking India and Japan.
What's that?
This is just purely for merchandise. Put the strap on Jinder Mahal. How many people are in India? 10 billion?
6.
How many are into wrestling? Right, there's a lot of folk here. And out of that, there's a lot of folk that like wrestling. Now, it's a shame because I love Nakamura. I think he's a fucking cracking athlete, and he's the real deal. Jinder Mahal went away, just took steroids for 4 years, came back, wins the title, purely just to sell t-shirts in India. That's all this is. That match was through together purely to sell t-shirts, and it's I think it's a shame for both the guys in the match.
Yeah,
especially Nakamura.
When you've got like someone who like held the championship and everything like that for like some prestige, like you could put it on like Cena or anything like that. You look back at the champions, it's what it like Ric Flair. This is where the title is now, just kind of like half-arsed to a sort of jobber, and that's not being like I see a lot of people defending Jinder, saying, yeah, he's doing much better with his promos and that now. He wins exactly the same way. Like, that finish the night was the exact same way how he beat Randy Orton, with the things running up, the opponent gets distracted, and then he turns into him, and that botched ending where it's like, Nakamura, give me your hand. And Nakamura goes, and he pulls him up. Oh, it's so bad. I hated it.
I liked it.
Love it.
Heel turn.
Heel
I
turn.
liked the match. It didn't feel like a title match by any means. I think if you take a title at the equation, people will. That's a decent match, actually. I thought Mahal's kind of slowed down their physical style, suited Nakamura to an extent.
Right.
They could talk better matches, no saying that, but I quite enjoyed the match. It didn't feel like a title match, didn't like the ending, it's just been done 9 million times.
Yeah.
You know. But Mahal, that is, just been carbon copy of all his matches to date. The ending. But I did like the match, if it was alright.
This was by far the reason I stayed up to 4:10 just to watch this match. And it didn't disappoint. I'm going to be honest with you, I absolutely loved it. Like, I get some flack sometimes because I actually really like Brock Lesnar. I think he adds something. Like, yes, you can argue his schedule, but every time he's in a match, he bumps, he makes everyone look like $1 million. And he's exciting. When you see him, the crowd pops. Like, he got more of a pop than the Demon Balor, and that's just fine. And yeah, he puts himself through tables. He's a freak athlete. He brings this sort of excitement. Everything that Jinder Mahal's no doing for the championship, and he's there every week. Brock Lesnar does once a month, and that's I think it says it all. But what do you actually think of the fatal 4-way match for the championship?
It was a cracking match. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Dead exciting, high intensity, really physical. Everybody was great. How they went and booked Strowman against Lesnar was absolutely fantastic. The place became unglued when that happened, because just to see a guy like Lesnar, who's been so dominant, just getting flung about. And I know we had them, the Goldberg, the kind of shock factor thing, but this was worse. I mean, this was like Lesnar just getting down. You know, I thought it was absolutely perfect, cracking match, absolutely brilliant.
I loved it because you felt like everyone could win in the match. Like, some people were saying Joe Reigns was obviously, some of you've got strong opinions. I'm sure we'll talk about that on another podcast about Roman Reigns. We've got Brock Lesnar, who I wanted to win. I think I was the only one. And Braun Strowman. I like how they teased it first, because like Brock and Braun was looking at each other. Then Roman Reigns and Joe ran into the ring to stop them. Then they threw them out the ring and they turned around and faced each other. And I believe it was the only time he's never been able to give someone a suplex was when Braun Strowman just kind of pushed out. But it wasn't really much a big deal. I'm sure it will be in the future. But they made every single person... That was one of the matches where they made every single loser look like an actual winner, if that makes sense. No one looked weak. Everyone looks like they could potentially win the title. And Big Braun must get the title strap next. I think they built him to the moon. Like, this is Kane, like when he ripped the door off the cage and the like heavy booking back in the 90s. That's what I feel like when I walk him. But Baz, what did you think?
Do you know, I was thinking this is probably one of the... I can't remember the last time I watched a pay-per-view and the main event of the pay-per-view actually kind of stole the show a wee bit. You normally watch pay-per-views and there's other matches that, you know, would steal the show, but I thought this lived up to it. And I'm by no means whatsoever a Samoa Joe fan. Don't even like the guy. I think his character's been done to death. He's been doing the same thing for 20 years, walking about looking pissed off and all that, fat bastard. You know what I mean? He's never done a fucking press up in his life. Just don't like the guy. But you know what? He kind of held himself with the big boys. Roman Reigns dealt with the heat as he always does. Braun Strowman came in, kicked ass. Now, I think we discussed this, but I did call that Brock Lesnar was going to win this because the cards were stacked against him. Everybody thinks he's going to go to UFC and all this sort of shit. So I predicted that Brock Lesnar was going to win it. And it was good how they built up. Even Paul Heyman was planting the seed weeks and weeks ago. Oh, everything's against him, everything's against him. So right away, people are thinking, you know, subconsciously that the cards are stacked against him. I think you get power slammed through 2 tables. You get 1 table through and tap him. You get speared through the sort of the barrier at the side. I don't know how many Superman punches took. It was either 2 or 3 in a match. And the crowd, you can see the crowd were cheering for him and booing for Simmy's man. But they're even cheering for Braun at one point. You know, they were all bigging up Braun. But I thought it was a good match. Samoa Joe surprised me. I mean, I fucking just don't like the guy. Maybe I've not given him a fair chance. Maybe he's better than I give him credit for. Because I just don't like his shots. And I thought it was a good match.
One of my favourite spots is something you just talked about. See the spear? Roman Reigns hit, like, some people have been critical of his spear, like it's not really a high impact. he hit that spear like it was Goldberg or like early Goldberg, where he just fucking absolutely took Brock Lesnar right through with him. And I like how Joe just missed it because he got off him just in time. You can kind of see it, and he's got powered through. I know they've sort of done the table thing before in the triple threat match with Ambrose and Rollins, where Brock Lesnar, how they laid him out on the table, then he came back in and won. But I thought 2 power slams, like he said, he took everyone's finisher multiple times. He got cleaner clutched as well for Joe, but he kind of powered out with that one. And I like to finish because the crowd was so hot because they all thought, right, they done the thing where Braun looked like he was going to win, then he got knocked out. And then it looked like Joe was going to win, but he got knocked out. And then it was Lesnar was kind of dazed, and everyone was so booing like shit because they all thought Reigns is going to win. But then how they done the quick spear at the F5, 1, 2, 3, loved it, absolutely loved it. It was my favourite match for quite a while.
Oh, the cracking match! I really enjoyed it. And like I said, we'll talk about Reigns on our podcast because that's a podcast in itself. But when talking about spearing that, he spears fine. You know what I mean? And like people slag a Superman punch, but Superman punch is actually like a legitimate UFC move.
Yeah, a genuine. You know, it's called the Superman punch.
It's a genuine like a high impact move. It's just him they hate. But talking about his spear, I mean, even last week on Raw when he went and ran down the ramp and like jumped.
Yeah.
And like speared Strowman, and it looked like it was in mid-air because Strowman was so big.
Yeah.
It didn't impact it. But he just like fucking launched himself after the ramp and took him. Mm-hmm. But the high spots, or the high impact spots with the barrier on the table and that are absolutely cracking. It's a great match. As you said, anybody could have won it. You just felt like this could go either way.
How do you feel about Brock winning it? Because obviously there's this stigma with the rest of the fans. Maybe 50%, maybe even higher than that, hate that he's only here a certain amount of time. But like as Heyman said in one of the podcasts, like one of his own podcasts, he says it's more of an attraction when he comes because you know shit's about to get real. It's exciting when he shows up because you're like, he's going to come. Here comes the pain. Stealing that for Taz. But
I'll be honest with you because McMahon said the same thing, and I'm totally fine with Brock Lesnar being a special attraction. And he's right. It does make it more special when he's there. But see when they turn around and use that same partner, they're talking about the belt.
Yeah.
You're like, well, why is Mahal on telly every week? You know, why was Kevin Owens on telly every week? Yeah. So don't give me a shite and say you're trying to make the title a special attraction. You're just not going to give Lesnar any more money.
Because it does cost a lot.
You know what I mean? Who's the man that's going to beat Brock Lesnar? I think we're going to need to look in another direction because you've got all these big guys. Sammy, I'm aware of the time, I know, mate. You've got all these big guys: Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe. If you remember back when Brock Lesnar won the title back in the day, there was a guy that bet him for the heavyweight title, and his name was Eddie Guerrero. So I'm thinking maybe it's something like that. We're looking in an entirely different direction. Whether it be somebody like AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose. No, sorry. So much demand. Seth Rollins, somebody that's more like that sort of middleweight, rather than a big guy. Maybe that's the way to go. History repeats itself.
I agree, Baz. I would go with like a guy that's not had his rematch, the free universal title, the first ever universal champion.
Oh, Balor, good shout, mate.
You've got like the Demon versus the Beast. Now, no, Lesnar hinted at that a few weeks ago as well, and nothing ever really came yet. I still think there's potential for that there. Now, the people say, it's got a strange matchup because of the size of Balor, but you mentioned Guerrero, and it's a cracking point,
Nakamura, is Nakamura already not got a win over Brock Lesnar? New Japan or something like that?
Might be right.
Yeah, in New Japan he has
He hasn't?
He has.
Oh, he has. I thought you said he hasn't. And
no.
He hasn't in this country means he hasn't. But so maybe that's it. Maybe that's the direction to go with.
I personally think it'll be Braun because they've just booked him like $1 million, and I think the excuse will be like he's never had a one-on-one fight, so I think that's what I'll eventually push for. I think they're going to make, just because obviously this UFC fight is probably going to happen, so I believe it will, like John Jones versus Lesnar. I do think it eventually will leave, and I think they're building Braun to be the beast, if you want, like the special attraction, like the man that can't be beat. I think that's why they're getting, because he doesn't get pinned. I can't remember the last time I've seen Braun, like he's been like, he bet Reigns and all the rivalry. He got took out by vans and ambulances and all that. But I can't remember the last time I've seen him get beat. But yeah, I thought the match was perfect, and I think the last 5 or 6, actually saved the pay-per-view, the actual last 5 or 6 matches, because I was hating it so much. But when you look back at the last 5 matches, you say, it's actually no bad SummerSlam. What do you guys think? Your overall thoughts, SummerSlam, just to sum them up?
Didn't feel like a big deal. Mm-hmm. It got better towards the end. The last few matches kind of saved it. But for the most part, it didn't feel like a big show.
Yeah. What about you, Baz? How would you sum up?
For me, I was kind of disappointed because there was 16,000 people in attendance at SummerSlam. Now, when I started watching wrestling, SummerSlam was the second biggest pay-per-view of the year behind WrestleMania. Now, arguably now the second biggest is the Royal Rumble because of the, you know, it's the lead up to WrestleMania. But back in the day, SummerSlam was the biggest main event or pay-per-view of the year. Now, I'm going to look at my first SummerSlam. That was in 1991. Madison Square Garden, 30,000. That is double what was there. You had Hogan and the Warrior versus Slaughter, Mustafa and Adnan. Guest referee was Sid Justice. LOD versus Nasty Boys. And the match that stole the night was Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect. Intercontinental. Now we're going to fast forward here in 1992 SummerSlam. This took place in Wembley in England. The attendance there was 80,000 people. The Warrior took on Savage. LOD took on Money Inc. Shawn Michaels took on the Model. Taker took on Kamala. In the main event, now just to get back to what Simmy was saying earlier on regarding the Intercontinental title being sort of diminished, weakened, this was 80,000 people in the main event that night. It was an Intercontinental match, and it was the British Bulldog versus Bret the Hitman Hart. That's the sort of power the Intercontinental belt used to have back in the day, and it pisses me off, and I'm sure it pisses everybody else off when they see the IC champion not even fucking defending his title, and it's not even on the main event. So that's just a bit of proof there that how fucking strong the IC belt was back in the day. 80,000 people, main event, SummerSlam. So I think the IC title's been weakened. I think the SummerSlam pay-per-view has also been weakened, and there's only 16,000 people there.
Yeah, that's actually been a SummerSlam review. Thanks to Simmy and Baz for joining us on there. Now, next week, obviously, there's no pay-per-view, so what we're going to be doing is going to be discussing a topic for you guys. I want you all to be involved, so make sure you're shooting your answers down below. We're going to read out some of them live next week and also discussing our opinions. So the question for next week is, name a top superstar who has reinvented his career, like who's came in with a really, really bad gimmick but didn't give up, like reinvented themselves and came back. Look at like the Bray Wyatt who came in as Husky Harris. That's just an example. Make sure we find that down below. Next week we'll come back with 3 different answers and we will argue with each other and try and convince each other whose is correct. I've been CJ Nova 92. That has been Baz. Simmy's gone. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.